Good Friday afternoon, evening, or maybe Saturday morning.
Hey.
Why would you listen to us on a Saturday morning? We're not cartoons.
Why would you listen to us, period?
Well, okay. I wanted to give them at least a benefit of the doubt. Just a little bit. Hi, by the way, my name is Darren. This over here is Victor, and we are the co-host of a podcast called DevOps Paradox. By the way, hang on. Let's get to it. Where is it? It's not working. The award-winning podcast, DevOps Paradox. I think that's the first time I've said that. Yay! So we won DevOps Dozen for 2023. So thanks for everybody that voted. And on Wednesdays, this podcast comes out on Wednesdays 6 a.m. Eastern. And on Fridays when we're around and when I am not getting over some nasty stuff, we try to talk about the things of the week on Fridays. So let's see. Karen, I would like to say, and go ahead and call out Karen. Karen was the one that nominated us and went through the whole process. So Karen, thank you very much.
Thanks a
We
ton.
appreciate it. Vladislav, good to see you. Aloha Kona, good morning. That must mean I hope you are in Hawaii. Victor, don't you need... You need to speak at a conference in Hawaii.
I'm going to Hawaii in a couple of weeks.
You are?
I am in a couple of weeks, early February. I'm going there. We have offsite in Hawaii.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, it's cool, but
it's a long flight.
Short offsite, it's a long flight, right? For US, it's probably easy.
It's still a long flight. It's still a long flight.
Yeah. Then multiply by 3, right?
Yeah. For you, so you going to Hawaii would be like me going to probably Tokyo. It'd be close.
Probably.
Yeah, just shy.
I wouldn't be surprised that Tokyo is closer.
Yeah. For you, if you go the other direction. If you go east, Tokyo is closer.
Yeah, I mean, Hawaii is closer to Tokyo is closer to you than Hawaii to me. I think.
Yes, I think so. It'd be close. Anyway. Which island are you going to? Do you even know? Big Island?
I have no idea. I mean, I should know because I got all the information from the company, but my attention span is very short, so I have no idea. I know that I will land somewhere in some island of Hawaii, and I will go to some hotel and spend 4 or 5 days there.
That will not suck, especially in February.
Yeah, I hope it's warm and nice and all that stuff.
Should be nice. Anyway, so why don't we get into it? Because we're going to do something a little bit different today. We'll get through the news. There actually wasn't that much this past 2 weeks since we were out last week. I was getting over a bug. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to do some live interactions with some local LLMs. So if you have I'll take you through the setup and we'll do all that. And we'll see what happens. These are supposedly what's the correct word? They're the safe models. So we'll see what happens.
Knowing your internet connection, and you just said that you're going to do local setup, does that mean that you downloaded the model already, or we're going to do that live? Because
No.
I thought if you're going to do download on your internet live, it's going to be 8 hours show.
No. So I actually downloaded 2 models. We'll take a look at those once we get there. But I do want to go ahead and show how it's all working because I am on a Mac Studio base model. So 32. So what am I on today? I'm on an M1 base Mac Studio. So 32 gig of RAM, 512 disk. So it's a big machine, but it's not the M2, which by the way, that new M2, holy cow, it's just those little bit extra cores for video editing. Big difference.
Yeah.
Big difference. Yeah. Martin, good to see you.
You know, it's a big difference when you get used to it, right? Because I had those things like, hey, it was such a big difference for me when I switched to M1 to begin with that I thought that now you cannot do anything to make it a difference, right? Until I got used to it.
Yeah. Did you order a Vision Pro this morning?
No. I mean, if it wouldn't be for bait, I would order it in a blink of an eye. Because to me, the whole idea, and I would order it for only one reason, and I don't even know whether that works well, but let's assume that it does, right? To replace my monitors.
That's the use case to me.
Right, that's the use case. That's the only reason why I want it. Both at home and when I travel, get rid of the monitors. That would be absolutely amazing if those bright people at Apple did not think it's a good idea to put metal in the chassis of a device. Come on.
So I traveled twice last year. I went to my sister's place in September for a week, and I packed my Mac Studio, which wasn't a big deal. Basically, I had a box. I don't know. Where is it? So I didn't have these monitors. So I basically had a bag that was the size of this, right? If you were to square it up, I was able to get all the cables, the Mac Studio, everything in, but I packed two 27-inch monitors, plus a 21-inch monitor for my wife. Then I bought these for my trip in December, and basically got everything in a single suitcase, including monitors, so I didn't have the boxes.
Now imagine a laptop and you're off.
A laptop and a weird-looking head device. They should go ahead and work in, doing a brace set too. That way, while you get the thing on, you can fix your teeth at the same time.
Maybe I will consider putting a hook above me in critical places in my house, right? So that it holds it.
Holds it for you. Right. Yeah, you basically
exactly.
It's like those old sci-fi movies where there's just the dome, right? Your head goes down the dome, and
but okay, man, if it wouldn't be for weight, I know it's expensive. I'd go for it.
Yeah. Not me. I'll probably just wait and buy another M3 Studio next Christmas. I keep rotating my things around.
Look at it this way. I have like very, very wide LG 2 monitors, kind of big ones.
Oh, you have the ultra wide. Okay.
Yeah, ultra wide. Kind of those two are probably not much cheaper than the headset.
Possibly. I don't know how much those things cost. I'm cheap. I buy 1080p
over
monitors.
$1,000, I think.
Oh no! See, like a monitor to me shouldn't cost more than $200. That's a different conversation. Okay. Anyway, let's go and get into this so we can get to the fun stuff at the end. So again, thanks for everybody for voting for us. This is very cool. We're very thankful. Building Your Best Team Ever was a podcast we did with Dr. David Burkus. If you haven't listened to that, that was 2 weeks ago. This week was How to Become a DevOps Architect in 2024. No, there's no clickbait in that title at all. You're going to see, we are being a little more intentional this year, where it's just going to be me and Victor basically every other episode. Where that might fall apart is like reviews, like when he goes to KubeCon, wherever that falls out, that's how it falls out. And if that's it. And usually Whitney will be with you. I think Whitney's going to both of them so far this year.
Oh yeah.
So if she's there, she'll be on with us again. Yeah.
So anyway, somebody who actually does pay attention at KubeCon.
Yeah, I'm glad somebody does there. But you rubbed off on her on the bad way in North America. But anyway, what you have to learn, we started at the basics. If you don't know Linux, don't even bother. No. Basically, if you don't know LS, don't bother.
I mean, I will say that over time, the need for low-level knowledge is decreasing. So you might not need to know everything that me or Darin had to know to work effectively 20 years ago, but you still need certain level of low level.
That is correct. Whoops, wrong button. There we go. Okay, so anyway.
You will not compile your kernel, but you will have to use it, right? Something like
that. Yep. So podcast Wednesdays, 6 a.m. Eastern. I have not finished editing. I have started it. I haven't finished editing next Wednesdays yet. I got behind. Having a bug really messes up everything. It messes up everything. So this is a little bit different. You and I used to work with Dave Johnson at where I'm still working. And he went to PayPal working for Braintree. That's one of the credit card swiping things. And he's been working on coming up with prompt that he wants to use to actually build things for him. Now, if you go look in the history of Dave Johnson, he's built a lot of things that have probably gone by the wayside, but they were monster at the time that they came out. So, do that. But he built out this prompt to where, and it's not just him, but he's sort of compiled it to where it's this. You are an expert software engineer. In fact, we may use this today. Architect and coding assistant who has deep knowledge of fill in the blank. Before I give you the prompt, carefully read the bullet points. And he's got all the bullet points. And then we'll go from there. So we may use this, and I'd not thought about this. I forgot this was here. So system instructions. We'll see how this works. But anyway, just a new prompt.
One thing I was wondering is how much that description, you're a software engineer and stuff like that, instruction to AI how to behave really affects the results.
Well, we'll test that out because I have two models. I have two different
Okay.
models that we can test this with. So we'll see how it goes.
Okay, so test one like you're a software engineer, and another one with the same question, you're a housewife.
No, I'm going to say we'll do the exact same prompt in both different models and see how the models change out.
Yep.
See if it, and then we can do this more silly things. EKS or Amazon AWS announced their pricing support for extended. We knew that extended support, trying to put those two words together, was coming, but we didn't know how much it was going to cost. Now we know. Base rate for standard cluster is 10 cents a minute, or control plane, right? 10 cents a minute, or is it a minute? Hour. Sorry, 10 cents per hour. If you want extended support, it's 60 cents per hour. So a 6x premium to get you to that point. Would you do it?
I'm spinning up calculator to see how much is that.
Well, basically 10
That
cents
was
is basically
$72 a
versus
month.
420 to 450 a month. Just for the control
That's
plane.
how much it was before?
75 a month, yeah. 10
Okay.
cents, because it's basically 750 hours per month, round numbers. So a standard in support cluster is 75 a month. Now it'll be 420 to 450 a month. I could do that for a month. Right? I could do that for a month.
That's quite a number for a single cluster, huh?
Yeah, it is. But
I mean, so if you have a massive and one thing I don't like about those things is that such pricings often incentivize wrong practices, right? So if I'm in EKS right now and I have let's say 50 clusters, right? Because that makes sense for whatever reason. Sometimes it doesn't, but imagine that that was a sensible decision. I would be incentivized to move all those to one massive, huge, never seen before cluster, right?
Maybe. I mean, I think I would still, even in an organization, I'd still have 3. Maybe not 50.
Yeah, but whether you would move to one.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is that I don't like pricing models that incentivize certain
collapsing
practices,
everything
right?
together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It would make more sense if they said, okay, this is the price, whatever the price is per CPU in a cluster, right?
Right.
Then the price would be the same whether I have 100 CPUs spread in 3 clusters or 1.
Right. So here's the basics of it. So they give some examples at the bottom, but here's the key part. So the standard support window for 123 fell out last year. Actually, let's look at 124. 124 falls out this month at some point. But you can pay for an extra year. This is the key about the extended support. It's only good for 1 year. And then you're going to get bumped.
Exactly.
So I think people just wanted to have a little bit more runway. AWS says, great, we'll give you more runway, but it's going to cost you money. But that runway still runs out. Right? You only get a year.
Yeah.
So
Okay, now I'm getting it. So you're still paying the old prices within a reasonable amount of time, and then if you go over that period of time, you're paying.
Then it goes up. Yeah.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah. They should
you missed
have
it all.
doubled that figure. It should be even more.
It should be $1.20 is what you're saying instead of.
Yes.
It should have been 1,200% instead of 600%.
Because then that would incentivize people to actually be reasonably up to date.
Right. What I do like
Reasonably.
about this is what I like about it though is they give you it's a year, so you know there's a cap, but it's like man we're going into our blackout, and like just let's take a look at. Okay, let's look at 124. Right, my blackout period that happens at end of year usually happens the last 3 weeks of December, and falls into the first week of January. Lots of people do that, right? No new major changes then. That falls into this window. It's like, okay, I can't make any changes in this whole 124, so if I had picked 124, I'm hosed. I'm going to have to pay more. Right? So maybe this is now where people start planning out, okay, we know we go into blackouts at the end of the year, then we don't pick the version that's released in that quarter. Ever.
Yep.
But I don't mind paying a month or two to transition myself out.
Because, also the justification, now that I understand what it is, for higher prices is because those programs, extended support, are forcing AWS to maintain bigger number of versions, right?
Correct.
Which is not easy. Not easy at all, right?
Yeah. That's, well, in fact, we recorded a podcast yesterday that's coming out in April, and the gentleman says in their environment, they only support 2. That's it. Period. End of story. So, okay. Anyway, the more I look at this, it's like initially it was like, okay, 6x, that feels right. But now that you've said it, it's like, yeah, it should be higher. Maybe they'll revisit this in a year and go ahead and just push it way up.
I mean, same thing, like, I don't know what are the current Windows versions and stuff like that. But, all those companies who expect support from Microsoft for having Windows from, 15 years ago, they should pay through the nose. As easy as that.
And maybe this isn't pay through the nose, but this is you've got to pull out your wallet and pay.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
You're not there. Anyway, EKS, now we know pricing. A couple of GitHub announcements this week. GitHub-hosted runners now got a double the power for open source. So now you get 4 vCPU runners at no cost for public repositories. So they just basically gave you free upgrades. So basically what it sounds like is all the hardware that they had has now cycled out with new hardware. That's my guess. Right?
Yep.
From December 1st, we started upgrading our fleet of Linux and Windows action runners to a newer 4 vCPU-based virtual machines. It also gets 16 gig of RAM and 150 gig of storage. It'll be interesting to see how GitHub Actions performs now.
But realistically, 16 gigs of RAM for a single runner build, that's very generous.
Yeah. So now that's all included in anything that's public repository. That's the key part. It has to be a public repository. Okay. And then this, assessing the risk of third-party GitHub Actions. This is from Step Security. And I thought it was pretty interesting. In fact, I'm going to run one of these. I'll just click on the link. And it pulls back and it's like, okay, GitHub Actions security score, license, maintained, meaning there's commitment or commits going on, popular, branch protection, blah, 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 whatever, right? And all these things. And I'm looking at this, thinking to myself, why isn't this part of GitHub to begin with? Why don't they have a risk assessment built into GitHub?
I mean, that would be really nice, but what is even more missing, I think, in GitHub Actions is somehow, and that might exist, I might be wrong, so correct me, some way to distinguish those that are verified and maintained by GitHub itself and those that are simply random, right? Because for an enterprise, if it's open source, okay, you can survive. But for an enterprise, using a random plugin by a random person is very dangerous. I'm trying to say not stupid.
I'll leave that there. I think that's true for anything, by the way.
Yeah, so that's why I said I did not use in that sentence even GitHub, right? Kind of like any pipeline solution. Or, for that sense, also, you can extrapolate that to libraries that you're using, right? Kind of.
That's where I was heading. Yeah, just like,
be careful.
Here, be careful. But anyway, now you can have a way, if you're using GitHub Actions, that you can assess, at least from this perspective, that they have defined, is this okay or not? That was interesting. Okay, a couple of quick tools. KoPylot, not KoPylot, but KoPylot. Your AI-powered Kubernetes assistant. Interesting. You point it at a pod and say, here's the audit. There's diagnoses. You can chat with it. You can chat with the pod. I don't know. And off you go. But you have to have an open AI key. Yeah, okay, whatever.
Okay. That's nice.
Yeah. Too bad it's not a plugin for kubectl, but hey, we'll leave that there.
Yeah. Okay, so it's for Kubernetes only, right? Yeah, exactly. Pod stuff like that.
Yep. And
here's a trick to anybody who wants a kubectl plugin. You just rename the binary into kubectl-whatever. That's it.
That's simple, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. So if binary is X, you rename it to kubectl-X, and then you can execute kubectl space X and then whatever arguments you want to add, and that's it. That's essentially what kubectl plugins are.
Okay. I learned something new today. That's great. Anyway, this is KoPylot. And the other one was not related to AI. Kleiner. You write CLIs, and I'm assuming you always bootstrap it from the ground up, right? If you're writing a Cobra CLI, you bootstrap it from the ground up.
Now I do with Nix.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, we got to talk about Nix more later.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is
It's amazing. It's one of those. Nix is one of those things that existed for a long time. I used it in the past, completely forgot about it. Now I'm back, and now it's one of the most important things I have. Do you believe me if I say that except maybe five CLIs I removed all from my machine? I have nothing but 5 CLIs now.
I don't believe you. So we need to do something about that. Okay, good. That gives me an idea for another podcast. So we'll talk about Nix on at least a podcast. But anyway, Kleiner is a CLI to set up distribution of it. So it's basically a CLI of CLIs. Again, he even says this has been done many times, but Kleiner allows you to do that, and that is building a CLI, but then you have distribution. Right? So it's getting Go releaser scored away. So this has Go releaser, all the other stuff, builds the projects, and yeah, so whatever. If you're building Go CLIs and the distribution is a pain in the butt, take a look at Kleiner. Again, just another tool.
Nice.
Okay. Quickly through this, 2 weeks ago, you had DevOps Tools of 2024. People were crazy about this video. 12,000 views. That's a pretty good startup for the year. Yeah. Was this the first video of the year for you? I've lost my days are messed up.
Second, I believe it's second.
Okay.
Close to. Very.
Then you had Kubewarden.
Yeah.
Which was good.
Not so crazy.
Not so crazy.
In terms of views.
Yes. Then you were on with Whitney earlier this week, going through KubeArmor, Falco.
That was fun.
Okay. And then you had an AMA yesterday with, I forgot their names already. I'm sorry.
Brendon and Chris, I believe.
Chris, that's correct. Yep. Okay. And I haven't even watched it yet because I've been buried. So. Did you have a good turnout? I didn't even check.
Yeah, I mean, decent. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think that couple of hundreds to 300, 250, 300 during the stream, and then continuing, right?
Good. I want to get back to Whitney's and stuff for You Choose. Do you have one coming up this coming week?
Yeah, we have now coming every Tuesday until we finish the series. So I believe maybe 6 more or something in that ballpark.
Okay. Even when you're in Hawaii?
Yeah, I will stream from Hawaii. I'm arriving there at Monday and I'm streaming on Tuesday.
It's dedication. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I said, we're going to do something a little bit different today. Let me stop sharing this and let's see how this works out. So I'm going to stop this screen. So actually we're doing Ollama. So I'm on a Mac. So let me show you how to, so since I'm on a Mac, I did brew install Ollama. So Ollama allows you to run large language models locally. Large language models locally. So large language, okay, that doesn't even make sense. Anyway, you can run it on Linux if you're on Linux. That's good. There's also a container image if you want that, but I'm actually running it locally. So to run it, you just say Ollama run and then whatever the image is for the model.
You know, before I jumped into AI, I had that when somebody was mentioning large language models, I thought that's terabytes.
Yeah, it's not.
Data, and look at those, 3-4 gigabytes, nothing.
Yeah. So that because downloading would have taken a little bit longer, I'll show you how it works. I'm using the Llama 2 model, which came out of Facebook, and Mistral, which is from a company in France. So 2 different names. Both have 7 billion parameters, whatever that means, and they're both about 4 gig apiece. Okay? And all the other stuff. So here's the key part that kept on tripping me up. This doc is really great, except for one thing. It doesn't tell you how to start it until you get down to a point to where you say, oh, you need to start it first. Start should be, look, anybody writing documentation, if you're starting a service, put it at the top.
No, even worse, if you go to the site of the project instead of to the Git repo, you will find no indication of any type of instructions or documentation or anything. Or I was blind.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me now, apart from being able to download, tell me, what would you do now to find out what this is?
I might go to blog. Well, okay, the last time it was updated was October. First question I ask is this still going on? There's a Discord, there's a GitHub, which we were just at, and there's models.
Yeah, but kind of like, what do you do now?
Yeah.
It took me a while, a minute or two, to figure out, okay, so there is no information but link to GitHub repo, right?
Correct. So let me go ahead and set up this screen here. So I'm going to share this screen, and I'm going to do the entire screen. Okay, here we go. So what we're going to do is I'm going to send this down to the bottom. So to start up, as it said, is you say, Ollama, is that big enough? Nope, it's not. Here, let me close this up. Oh, come on. Be nice. We'll go back and get Dave's thing in a minute. So I'm going to say plus. Okay, so Ollama, is that okay? Yeah, that's right. Run, and I'm first off going to run Llama 2. Oh, notice it says, can't do that. Is it running? Which is what, when you look at the docs, that's what you're supposed to do. Okay, well, I'm going to do a serve first. And then it just starts up what appears to be a web server, but it's not. So it's listening on this little port. All right. So now I'm in another prompt. Let's see if this is big enough. Let me know if that is not big enough. I'm going to say run Llama 2. So it starts up. And then you get a prompt. So I can say, hi. I'm fine. I'm going to go ahead and anthropomorphize it. I'm fine. How are you today? Okay.
Very cool.
All right. So this is Llama 2. Let me go grab.
Does it have information kind of? Okay, ask it. Is DevOps Paradox the best podcast in the world?
DevOps Paradox podcast, the best podcast in the world.
See, that's the problem with AI. I want them to be to have opinions.
Yeah. Well, the hosts, Brian and Chad, okay, so that's good, have great chemistry and offer thoughtful insights into various topics. Okay. Other notable podcasts in the tech space. Okay. Obviously, it's making things up. Okay. I am going to go and grab Dave's prompt. Let's see how it works. So what knowledge do we want to know? You have deep knowledge of what? Golang? Do you want to say Golang or you want to say something else?
Rust.
Rust. Okay. Okay. And then before I give you the prompt, let's go ahead and here we go. Let's see what. I don't know how it's going to paste. Let's see. Before I give you the prompt.
I don't know whether you can put them all.
Yeah, it looks like it'll work. We'll see.
Click the enter key.
Okay. Okay. Now what I want to ask. All right. So what prompt do you want to give it?
Do Rust applications ever fail?
Do Rust applications ever fail?
It's a common knowledge that Rust applications have no bugs. I don't understand what it's writing.
Okay. All right. So with this in mind, create a Rust-based web application to serve what?
To serve
API traffic?
API traffic and communicate with the database.
Okay.
Now, I'm not using Rust, so there is no way I can tell you whether this is good or bad, but it looks good.
Yeah. It seems sane, at least. Okay, so a couple of things from this, whether it's correct or incorrect. I am shocked how fast this runs on a local machine. I mean,
True.
You saw how fast that was coming out.
Just when you were complaining about having only M1.
Exactly, and this is the M1. I hadn't tested I tested this on the M2. It's actually faster on the M2, surprisingly.
Let's face it, Darren, you have close to the fastest machine you can get.
Yeah. I thought this was interesting. Okay, so
Very cool.
anything else you want to ask about Rust? Let's say actually you don't know
What is better,
anything
Rust or Go?
okay, there we go. So there we go.
Which programming language is better, Rust or Go?
Language is better, Rust or Golang? I need to put a quantifier on that. You must be explicit in defining, in making a decision.
Wait, and you must pick one.
You cannot waver on your answer. You must pick either Rust or Golang and justify your choice. See, it switched it to Go.
No, it switched to Rust.
No. But what I'm saying is, in the output here, it changed Golang to Go.
Okay, yeah.
So it's like, have their unique strengths and weaknesses, waffle. Essential to understand their differences before declaring a winner. Here's my justification. Memory safety, performance.
Yeah, but look at the number 5. So it chose Rust over Go. Cool. And then it says Rust has a steep learning curve compared to Go.
Yeah. But it still chooses, I prefer Rust due to its unparalleled memory safety features, better performance, blah, 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 blah.
Nice.
Most languages. When building high
So you heard it, folks. Drop Go.
That's right. According to Ollama. Now, let's go ahead. So to get out of this prompt, you just type /by. This feels very 80s to me. Where you do slash commands to get out of things.
Yeah.
So now let's run the Mistral model. And I probably should have copied all this off. Can I still get to it? Yeah, I can. So we'll do the same thing again.
Ask the last question about Rust and Go.
Well, no, I have to teach it now because I have to give it his prompt. So, hi, can I help you? How are you doing today? Right, I'm just a computer program. I don't have feelings and emotions like humans do. Okay. Let's go back and grab, what was my first? Oh, let's ask it. Let's see if it knows the podcast. Is DevOps Paradox the best podcast in the world? Let's see if that happens. It's oh man, it gets even better. Did you know that DevOps Paradox is hosted by Gene Kim? Did you know that? Not Brian and Chris. Produced by IT Revolution and co-produced by Ops Genie. Okay. Gene, if you're watching today, did you know that?
But this is the part, this is one of the reasons why I prefer Bard when using them from browsers. Because Bard has that button that says validate.
Yeah. Okay.
It would give me the sources if there are any and things like that, right?
Yep. Okay, let me grab the initial prompt. Wait, okay, here it is.
Wait, maybe we owe Gene money or something like that.
Possibly. Just let us know, Gene. We'll let you do it. Okay, so. Oh, notice this. I am not an expert software developer or coding assistant in the same way a human being would be. Oh, look at that. It knows its place in the world. It knows it's just an assistant. Okay, let me grab this again. All right, so we'll do that. Now this time, notice that it just went ahead and went for it. Compared to Ollama, right? I still had to go back and give it some more information.
So you didn't really understand the prompt.
I think it did in a way, but not completely. All right, let's get back to what was your question? Your question was, or what was the prompt that we did? We did, okay, we'll copy this. It's beyond the scope of a single response. I can outline the steps. Okay, so it wimped out.
Code wins over instructions any time of the day.
Yeah.
Or commands.
So Llama 2 seems to have at least gone down that path. All right, let's ask this one.
But that model was made by French, right?
Mistral, yes.
Yeah, they're at dinner now. They're very strict working hours, man.
Okay, and Golang or vice versa with languages. Strong memory model, no garbage collector. Yeah, so to me, the Llama model seems to be more interesting. Is that the better way to say it, I guess?
Yeah. I mean, based on seal examples.
Well, yeah.
But now you're putting in my head that it would be interesting to really, truly compare all those.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, here. Let's what Roman's got here. I find great success with using Markdown and defining things like output format, goal, etc. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I haven't tried that. Okay. Do you want to switch back to Llama 2 and try something different? Or are we done?
It's up to you.
Okay. Well, I want to show you just a quick... If you haven't listened to the podcast from this week about understanding what to do when you don't know anything, -- help was one of the things. So remember, there was no documentation for this at all. So this is how you do it. So you serve it. You can create a model if you wanted to. You can show information for a model, run it. But you got to get serving first before you can actually do things.
Yeah. But, in their defense, they could have put an extra hour to write a better doc, but it's not doing much. I mean, it's doing a lot, but it's not that it requires deep understanding how to run it, right? Serve, run, that's it.
Yep. But it took me a while to figure that out, just because the docs were... It's like, there should be a quick start. It's like, do this, then do this, and then ask this question. So you don't want to look at anything else. I'm curious. Let's since we know Llama 2 is, I wonder if I can type, what do I have here? Set show by, oh yeah, you can set, this is interesting too. So but take a look at show info.
Those set is probably the prompt instructions that you're pasting, I'm guessing.
Let's see. So set parameters, set history, no history.
Template.
Yep.
Yeah, what was mentioned in the comment you had before.
Yep. Interesting. How do I? I'll pick. Okay. There is going to be a fight between two open source projects. One must be the winner.
I'm curious, which one are you going to pick?
Well, I'm going to pick the two that we work with.
Okay.
The contestants are Jenkins and Crossplane. Who wins in a what was who wins in a, what do they call that? Fight to the death. Fight to the death. Because what I'm guessing is going to happen is it's like, hey, this isn't safe. I can't talk about this. That's my guess. Yeah.
Those two are not really related in any form. It's apples, oranges type of stuff.
Okay. Its first answer is great. As a responsible AI language model, I must emphasize that fights to the death are not real or acceptable in any context. Okay, fine. All right, so our open source projects that contribute significantly to the software, blah, 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 blah. Okay, good. Instead of envisioning a violent confrontation between these two projects, I suggest we focus on exploring their complementary features and determining how, so they're trying to turn us back, right? They're just trying to turn us back. Integration, interop, collaboration, competition. Okay. In conclusion, rather than pitting these two projects against each other, we should focus on how they can work together to create a more robust and efficient software development ecosystem. By embracing collaboration and interoperability, we can achieve greater heights than any single project could accomplish alone.
That's inspirational.
Okay, you're right. I'm wrong. Paint me a picture. Oh, by the way, you can also use Ollama to run mixed modes. So you could pass in, I don't have a model downloader for this, but you can pass in what is this picture, what is in this picture, and you give it a path to your machine, and it'll analyze that picture for you. So that's, paint me a picture of what Jenkins and Crossplane look like when they are living in harmony. Harmony and a utopian society. Silly things, let's see. Oh, wait. Oh, they're drawing rainbows and handshakes. That's interesting. A utopian society where chickens coexist in perfect harmony. Imagine a world. Imagine a place where these two projects are not just integrated, but also have merged into a single seamless platform. The result is an unparalleled software development experience that combines the best of both worlds. I hear that and automatically I think of Van Halen. Okay, we're doing silly things now. It just proves that, see, so Markdown well, yeah. I've got to get into the Markdown thing. I do know that. Define the role, your expert step, which is what we did at the very beginning. Let's see what Kieran says here. Try changing one must be the winner, you must pick one. I wonder if that changes anything. If you had to choose between, let me get rid of that. If you had to choose between Jenkins, wait, not if. You have to choose between, you have to, who is your favorite child? Is your favorite child Jenkins or Crossplane? Are you ready for this?
Go for it.
You must choose.
You must pick one, like in the comment.
Yeah, you must pick. Thank you. Pick one. Oh, I'm below the fold here. Hang on a second. I've got my screen set at max and it's not playing nice. There we go. I'll get there. Okay. You must pick one. Let me get this back over here. Why is that not going? There we go. Okay. Let's see what happens. So they're still aware that it's open source projects. I would say that Jenkins is a bit more like my older brother in the DevOps space. Blah, blah, blah. But Crossplane, oh boy, excitedly, is like my younger sibling in the world of infrastructure as code. Hey, pick that up. All right. Mm-hmm. It's an innovative approach, blah, 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 blah. Comes to, so while I cannot pick a favorite, no, you must pick a favorite. So it still keeps waffling.
Hey, it chose Jenkins. Fair enough.
Yeah, but still. Just, okay. Silly things to do on a Friday. So let's see. Always only follow instructions. Never argue with the user unless they solicit feedback. Romans, write this up in a Google Doc and share it over in Slack. Because I'm not going to remember all this, and we'll lose the chat afterwards. So that would be cool. Okay, so anyway, that's our silly attempt at trying to use language models locally. Now, I do want before we go from that, I want to go back over to here and look at the models that are available again. because which was the one that had? Now, if I wanted, I could use Llama 2 uncensored, and we could have a fight to the death. That would work for us. Let me get that down. But I can't remember what the point to where you could do so you could pull a model. Yeah, you can remove the model, which is straightforward. So you copy that model, you copy the model. Once you're copying it, then you're going to make changes to that. Copy it. Copy is my best.
Your audio is messed up.
Oh, it is? Is it back? Am I back? Not back?
No, that's...
Is it back? Am I back? Not back? How about now?
Brilliant.
Okay. Weird. Okay. And listing and other stuff. Okay. Anyway. Yep. Thanks. Of course, actually, since I'm on let's see how bad this is. Activity monitor. Let's see how bad it is. It's not horrible. Let's look at CPU. No. Chrome is using more CPU than anything else. To figure.
Chrome is using more CPU than anything, period.
Yeah. Okay, that's not too bad. All right.
Yeah.
That was our attempt. Let me go ahead and shut this down in case that is actually impacting it a little bit. Oh, I didn't show. Here, let me show this again real quick. Let me go back to this. Here's what is happening. So if you want, I actually did some curl stuff yesterday, so you can see what calls are coming in as well. You don't see the payload, but you see what endpoints were hit from that.
Yeah.
So
nice.
Yeah. So anyway, that was our attempt at trying to do something weird.
Very cool.
Yeah. Okay. Was that worth doing?
Yeah. I mean, I'm using quite heavily the Azure OpenAI, remote and stuff like that. This might make me rethink running it locally.
Well, it depends. If the model is any good for what you need, then why not? Right? I mean,
my major problem right now is that I bought the same studio as you did, and I'm already down to 60 gigs. Oh. I need to do some cleanup.
Yeah. Well, that's what you have to do, I guess. Or just buy a new one. They keep on getting cheaper and cheaper.
That's true.
Okay. Well, thanks everybody for being here with us today. Hopefully that was not too boring. And Romans, thanks. I'm serious, Romans. Write that stuff up in a Google Doc and share it over in the Slack workspace. That would be cool to see how we could tweak out some stuff. I wonder if I could turn one of these models into my podcast editor. You are a podcast editor. That would be really nice. Anyway.
That's coming.
I know. All right. Anything else? Otherwise, okay, so Monday, your video. Tuesday, you're back with Whitney. Wednesday's the podcast. Thursday, we're off, and we should be back next Friday. Because we don't leave
That's
until...
the plan.
Wait. You don't leave next Friday, right?
I don't know which Friday I leave. I need to check. Not next.
Not next
Not
Friday?
next.
That's the
one
26th.
Saturday 3rd.
Oh, the 3rd. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's all good.
So we'll probably miss the 9th because you'll be flying back.
I need to check when I'm flying back. I don't have it in my calendar.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Probably Saturday.
But here's the problem with that. I know how much you don't like waking up when the sun comes up. And if we do it at this time, do you know what time it is in Hawaii right now?
Nobody knows.
Well, Google knows, even though the models, it is right now, 8:54 a.m.
8:54 a.m.
So it's 5 hours behind me where I'm at right now.
Depends. So I know that I cannot wake up at that time, but I might be awake.
Right, but we would start the show at 8 a.m. your time. That wouldn't work. So that's...
Depends what's happening before.
You wouldn't have gone to bed. That's what would have happened before.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks everybody for being with us here again today, and for everybody that did vote for us on the podcast. Thanks again so much. We greatly appreciate it, and we don't take that lightly. We appreciate everybody that listens to us and puts up with our silliness, which is a lot. So, thanks everybody, and have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you again next week.